You know, when we think about building the future, we're talking massive bridges, new transit systems, a modern energy grid. We picture concrete, steel, and heavy machinery, right? But what if one of the biggest things holding us back isn't physical at all? What if it's actually hidden in plain sight, inside the digital paperwork we use to manage the whole thing? It's a fascinating problem, so let's dig in.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at why so much crucial data is basically trapped in paperwork. Then, we'll explore the big vision for a digital future. We'll get into how AI is both the bridge to get there and a pretty big risk. And then, we'll check out a really cool challenge for entrepreneurs and see how something as small as data crumbs could be the key to building our next generation of infrastructure. So, let's start with this invisible problem. The country's infrastructure is getting this massive overhaul, which is great, but a lot of the processes behind the scenes are, well, they're decades old. And the scale we're talking about here is just staggering. Seriously, think about it. How do you actually keep track of these colossal projects? I mean, how do you manage the insane flow of money, materials, and approvals for something that can span years and involve thousands and thousands of people?
Well, the surprising answer is we often do it with digital files that are basically just pictures of paper. Yeah, I'm talking about PDFs. They are absolutely everywhere. Contracts, payment applications, you name it. But here's the problem. All the critical data inside them is locked up tight. A computer can't just read it or analyze it or compare information across thousands of documents. That data is completely trapped.
So, what's the big vision for the future? Well, it's all about creating a truly digital ecosystem. Imagine going from a world of static digital paper to one where information can just flow freely. That is how you build a smarter foundation for everything that comes next.
And the key to unlocking all this is a technology called XBRL. Now, here's a really simple way to think about it. A PDF is like taking a photo of your grocery list. Sure, you can read it, but your computer has no idea what to do with it. XBRL turns that photo into a spreadsheet, and suddenly your computer can instantly understand, sort, and analyze every single item, its price, its quantity. It makes the data machine-readable and, most importantly, totally actionable. And look, this isn't just some fringe idea. As XBRL advocate Alfred Berkeley says, it's an international standard that gives you high-integrity data. The whole point is that it turns raw data into something genuinely useful for the people making these enormous billion-dollar decisions. Okay, so we've got millions of PDFs on one side and this powerful XBRL standard on the other. So what's the bridge between them? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. But here's the thing. While AI is an incredibly powerful tool, it also comes with a critical and potentially very costly flaw. See, AI models can be trained to read and actually understand these static documents. They can automatically pull out and tag all the key information. This is the bridge. This is the tool that could save unbelievable amounts of time and unlock decades of trapped data. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. As Kay Dixon Wright points out, AI can hallucinate. What does that mean? Well, essentially, the AI can just make things up. It can invent details or just completely misread the information, almost like it's guessing. And when you're dealing with billion-dollar projects, a misplaced decimal point isn't a small error. It's a massive risk. And the stakes here are just incredibly high. I mean, look at the difference. With accurate data, you get better financial underwriting, safer projects, and really reliable monitoring. But if those AI hallucinations start to creep in, you end up with flawed data, way more risk, and ultimately bad decisions that could cost millions. So this brings us to a really fascinating solution. Instead of just crossing our fingers and hoping the AI gets it right, a new research initiative is actually putting it to the test. And they're doing it by creating a challenge for entrepreneurs. Let's see how this works. The initiative is funding $5,000 seed contracts. They're giving them to teams, often pairing up university students with expert mentors to build and test their own AI models to solve this exact problem. And their goals are super specific. This isn't just about converting documents for the sake of it. They are systematically comparing a bunch of different AI tools to see where they fail. They are actively hunting for those hallucination risks. The whole idea is to figure out the most important data points and then get feedback from everyone involved to build a solid, reliable data standard that people can actually trust. And this is already happening. It's not just theoretical. The first award went to a guy named Carson Whitaker, a student entrepreneur from Texas A&M. His goal is to use this whole process to help capital markets get better at underwriting and monitoring these projects. And you know what that does? It helps small and local businesses get the financing they need to actually be a part of these huge projects. It's pretty cool.
So, how does focusing on one specific type of document, the application for payment, connect to this massive vision? Well, it turns out it's one of several crucial data crumbs you need to build a whole new foundation from the ground up.
See, the bigger goal here is to standardize 4 key document types into this XBRL format. It starts with the applicant's qualifications. Are they legit? Then comes the surety bond, which is what guarantees the work will get done. After that, you've got the contract agreement itself. And finally, you have the application for payment. When you combine these 4 data crumbs, you suddenly get a complete, reliable, digital picture of an entire project.
And just to give you a sense of how ambitious this whole thing is, the funding proposal actually used the slogan, "Make infrastructure great again." Now, by using a phrase that's obviously very well known, the proposal was trying to frame this really technical data problem as a matter of national importance, as a key part of restoring the country's infrastructure. And when you step back, the payoffs are crystal clear. Having this kind of actionable data leads directly to better risk management for the insurers and investors footing the bill. It means improved real-time project monitoring for government agencies. And maybe most importantly, it means expanded access to financing for all those smaller businesses that are truly the backbone of the construction industry.
So it all leaves us with this one fascinating thought. We're always looking for these huge, revolutionary solutions to our biggest problems. But maybe, just maybe, the first and most important step to rebuilding our physical world isn't physical at all. Maybe it's digital, just teaching an AI to carefully and accurately read our paperwork.